Smells good. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Yes. Let's get into some things of the things. Hey, what's up, y'all? We're gonna get into some things of the things. Let me get a little roll call, and then we're gonna get this party started. What's up, peace, love? Mwah. How are you? Red Lipstick said we want to get into this Black Lives Matter. Listen, I didn't want to talk about it, but I have to, y'all. Nap Queen, we're gonna get into it. See Golden, hey Sebastian, hey Xavier Boo, what's up? Hey Travel Love, how are you? So listen, here's our candle of the day. This smells so good, y'all. This is Black Cherry Seltzer. It is Bath and Body Works, and it does have essential oils in it. Oh, this smells so good. I mean, it really smells like a drink. Hey, what's up, Erlan? Hey, Erlan, how are you? Now, ma'am, you're not right for introducing me to these, but listen, let me tell you. So I was in the airport. I was at LaGuardia Airport. Went to the little convenience, the little shop, and they had a whole stand of those cookies. What Tate's? They had chocolate chip. They had walnut raisin. They had Blondie. They had every damn flavor except for the butter crunch. Now, on one hand, I'm glad they did. Because y'all know my fat ass would have bought that bag of Tate's, and I probably would have ate the whole damn bag on the plane. Because I don't have that kind of self-control. Because it's like at home, I can put it somewhere where I don't have to, But on the plane, it is right there. I would have ate that whole damn bag. But I'm sorry, because aren't they good? Oh, they're so good. I'm disappointed for the Black Lives Matter ladies. I was rooting for them. We were all right. In my Tyra voice, we were all rooting for you. You're burning beach weather. I saw beach weather. I'm going to have to order me a beach weather. You hear you exhausted. What's up, Sims Overdose? How you doing, boo? We're going to get into some things, child. We got some colored people stuff going on all the way through this episode. So let's go on and just buckle up, Buttercup. Buckle up, Buttercup. Okay. All right. Got my candle lit. I'm about to get this thing started. It is, isn't it, Sebastian? It is. It's sad. It really is. And like I said, I really didn't want to touch the story, but honestly, I would be remiss if I didn't. When I first heard the story, because they've been reporting on this. Let's just go ahead and start with the Black Lives Matter since we kind of already got into it. And they had already been reporting on this, and I didn't want to. Oh, sorry. Oh shoot. Sorry, y'all. I got the wrong remote. Hold on. I had my TV paused. they had reported this. Okay, so for those who do not know, there have been some allegations of some mismanagement of funds down to the Black Lives Matter situation organization. Now, y'all remember a couple of months ago, this came out, and I believe the woman that had been accused, she ended up resigning. Allegedly, she bought a house with some funds that were donated, yada, yada, yada. So let me just give y'all, right, so we're going to get into it. Because I got a couple of stories for y'all today, and we're going to get into some things. Y'all know I usually take screenshots, but when some of these stories are 3 or 4 pages long, so I was defending them to the last. But this, yeah, I was defending them too. Well, let me say this: I wasn't defending them. I just wasn't detracting. I wasn't. Y'all have not heard me come down here and tell no stories about Black Lives Matter, and people actually wanted me to, because y'all be coming to me. Y'all be in my DMs and stuff, and y'all bring me stories, and I appreciate it, because sometimes y'all know stuff that I ain't heard of, and then I go do the research and we talk about it. But at the end of the day, I had to talk about this, because listen. What's up, King Retro? You say you in here? You in the chat, or what's up, the artist? Hey, I love that font. So let's get into some things of the things, child. Let's get down here to let's start with the Black Lives Matter people. All right. Yeah, here we go. I want to go back to the beginning so I can get y'all the whole thing. Okay. Black Lives Matter founders reportedly used donations to buy a $6 million California mansion. Now, let me read you the story, and then I'll tell you a little bit more, because there's been a response. So we're going to get into all of this. According to new shocking report from New York Magazine, the 3 leaders of the Black Lives Matter, Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Melina Abdullah. I believe Melina Abdullah was the one that resigned or was alleged to resign or whatever. I know KK said playing that. Hey, Yana, what's up, boo? So let me read y'all the story. Okay. A video last summer. Okay. They recorded a video last summer that has recently come to light. In the video, the women are sitting outside the undisclosed $6 million mansion as they marked the first anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. The lavish home was reportedly bought with donations from Black Lives Matter. The 6,500 square foot estate has over 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, multiple fireplaces, a pool, a parking for more than 20 cars. More than 20 cars. Well, damn. The home was reportedly purchased back in October 2020 with funds that had been donated to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. It was purchased by Diane Pascal 2 weeks after BLM received $66 million from its fiscal sponsor. Pascal is the financial manager for Janaya and Patrisse Consulting, an LLC, operated by Patrisse Cullors and her spouse, Janaya Khan. Ownership of the property was then transferred to an LLC in Delaware, which ensured that the property's owner wouldn't be revealed. According to the organization, its purpose is to provide a safe house for Black Lives Matter activists, as well as serve as a studio for creating abolition-based content. I'm going to come back to that. You'll recall the organization co-founder Patrisse Cullors resigned. Okay, it was Patrisse that resigned. Resigned back in May of 2021 as the BLM executive director, following criticism for buying 3 homes in Los Angeles area and Atlanta. Meanwhile, BLM board member, I'm not even going to pretend like I'm going to say that woman's name, Miss Bowers, stated that BLM had always planned to disclose the home's legal filings, and it doesn't serve as anyone's personal residence. However, according to USA Today, the New York Magazine article doesn't account for Collier's other streams of income. So that was the original post. Now, there's been a response. So before we get to discussing, let me be fair and let me read y'all the response from Patrisse. Because Patrisse posted this long-ass 3-page response. So, child, let me get to it. Lord, I got to take my glasses off to read this thing. Okay. Actually, no, I think I can keep my glasses on. I think I got it. Okay. Yesterday's article in the New York Magazine is a despicable abuse of a platform that's intended to provide truthful information to the public. Journalism is supposed to mitigate harm and inform our communities. The fact that a reputable publication would allow a reporter with a proven and very public bias against me and any black leaders to write a piece filled with misinformation, innuendo, and incendiary opinions is disheartening and unacceptable. To clarify again, the property the reporter addressed was purchased in 2020 as a space where those within the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation and broader movement community could work, create content, host meetings, and foster creativity. Although I cannot speak to how BLM uses the property currently, as I left the organization last year in May, it was purchased to be a safe space for Black people in the community. The reason it wasn't announced prior is not nefarious as the headline infers. The property needed repairs and renovation. I do not own the property, have never lived there, and made that clear to the reporter. I want to be clear, while I will always see myself as a part of the BLM community, I am no longer in leadership, and I am not a part of any decision-making process within the foundation. I have never misappropriated funds, and it pains me that so many people have accepted that narrative without the presence of tangible truth or facts. Nevertheless, this will soon be made clear upon the release of BLM 990s. To those within our movement and others who have looked to me for leadership, I'm sorry you have constantly had to engage with this kind of hateful and erroneous content. I admittedly, have not always responded, and I know that my silence has contributed to doubt. I apologize if it has caused you harm of any kind, but I'm asking you all to understand the enormous pressure and fear that comes with living under the constant threat of white supremacist terror, real threats to my life and those people I love. But I am no longer letting fear take hold back from calling out these attacks, to hold me back from calling out these attacks. What's happening to me and our movement is both racist and sexist. This is bigger than me. It's about a long history of attacking Black people and Black women specifically, creating unsafe conditions for us and our families, scrutinizing our every move publicly and privately in ways that are unfair and unjust. It's dangerous, and we should all be trying to stop it, interrupt, protest it. Still, we have to remember that we're a part of a legacy of freedom. I'm sorry, y'all. Stuff keeps popping up on my phone while I'm reading. Freedom fighters, and that comes with the hardest of moments as well as many victorious days. Elders in the movement whose names we now chant were at times named enemies of the state, were shunned by their communities and attacked ferociously without relent by the opposition. Y'all, I told y'all it was a long statement. Hold on, we almost done. We're coming up on the end. I have spent the last 22 years of my life in service to Black people and others suffering under the weight of oppression. I'm privileged to have led work that resulted in successful ballot measures. We've stopped the jails from being constructed and created civilian oversight of the largest sheriff's department in the world, the LA County. We've supported families against sheriff's violence and police violence. We've built communities, gardens, and so much more. However, the conditions of our people still require more money. You probably shouldn't have put more money. But anyway, more money, more time, more care and resources, and we should, can, and will do more. I understand some of the concerns and critiques coming from within and outside our movement. No community organizer is above criticism. In fact, I am grateful that especially when it's about helping people and do be better. And do people do and be okay. But what is happening to me is not about accountability or healing. It's about destroying my life and destroying a powerful movement. Despite all of this, I will continue fighting for my people, and my movement will continue on. They can't kill it. We are still winning and will continue to win. but we're also still learning and growing. I'm still learning and growing, and I'm asking you all, my community, for a measure of grace. Yours in love and service, Patrice. Now, see, at the end of that, it sounds like you admitting that you did something wrong. You asking for grace and say you still learning and you're going to make mistakes. Let me say this. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. If, in fact, they bought that property to serve as sort of a headquarters where they could host parties, a safe space where people could come and meet and organize and things of that nature, I mean, the question, I guess, would be, do you need a $6 million property, though? Because let's be clear, like when we think about like the Black Panthers, or we think about the Southern Christian Leadership Coalition, like these people operated in poverty, meaning like even with SNCC, like even when money was coming in, even when the donations was coming in, that money was, and I'm talking from people, y'all know I've talked to the people who were part of these organizations. I've interviewed people who were part of these organizations. These people didn't take salaries, or they took minimal salaries. Nobody got rich. I'm going to say nobody. That's a strong word. I won't say nobody. But the majority of these men and women that we hear about in the history books, when it comes to the civil rights movement, they didn't get rich. They just didn't. And if they got rich, they didn't get rich off of the movement. They got rich as a result of the movement. And what I mean by that is they got rich by writing books after the fact. They got rich by doing consulting work after the fact. They got rich by doing speeches and being recognized after the fact. They didn't get rich during the movement. Martin Luther King did not die a rich man. Malcolm X did not die a rich man. None of the Black Panthers walked away with any money, right? And I mean, there are a variety of reasons for that. We're not going to go too deep into it. But people who were in these organizations did not get rich during the movement. That some of them did well after the fact, right? If Martin Luther King had lived, Martin Luther King would probably have become a rich man, right? He would have become a rich man. We see that Barack Obama, when Barack Obama was doing community organizing, Barack Obama was not a rich man. Barack Obama got a book deal, and even when his first book came out, he didn't get rich off of his first book because anybody know who the hell he was, okay? Barack Obama didn't get rich until his first book went into its second printing, and then he wrote the second book. Up until when Barack Obama started, when he ran for the Senate, the state Senate of when he ran for the, I mean not the state Senate, when he ran for the Senate, Barack Obama still has student loan debt. Now I read somewhere somebody said that when he was elected president, he still had student loans. That's not true. He had paid his student loans off by the time he was elected president, but not too far off though. He still had student debt when he was working as a senator. Now he still had student loans on his back, but it was because of the book. Anyway, I went way around Robin Hood's barn. But y'all, so I say all that to say, if you had the $66 million donation, ain't nothing wrong with spending it. I mean, that's what it was there for. But if you are really about the community and helping the community and working within the community, if they had spent $6 million on a strip mall in South Central Los Angeles, y'all, I wouldn't even be tripping. I'd be like, okay, they was going to do some things. They were going to open up some stores, and they was going to renovate the building, and they were going to provide some services to the community. I wouldn't even be tripping. I'd be like, okay, so what? They spent $6 million on a strip mall, but it's in the middle of the hood, and that's their people. That's where they're there to help. But a $6 million mansion, and then Patrice, and they said, well, they didn't take into consideration that she has 3 other sources of income. So it seems to me that would be really easy to show that you used money from your other sources of income to pay for these 3 properties. So that's just as simple, easy as you could do a press conference and you could release the documents. You could show, listen, I made $60 million last year doing speaking engagements and doing YouTube and doing a podcast, and that money is not connected to the Black Lives Matter movement. That wasn't a part of any donations or anything that I received from Black Lives Matter. That is 100% from income that I had outside of the movement. Here you go. And you know what? Everybody shuts up. Right, exactly. He was in debt and broke. Exactly. They were basically living off of Michelle's salary, and she was making good money, but they weren't rich because again, both of them had student loans. Both of them had churn because at one point in time they had moved back into the family because her parents, they had a duplex. They had moved back into the family's duplex. She was living on one side, they was living on one side, and child, anyway, y'all go read Michelle's book. Y'all get the download. Y'all get it. But my thing is, again, there's a way to spend the money that's above scrutiny. It's nothing wrong with spending the money. It's about how you spend the money. It's not even anything wrong with buying property and saying, listen, this property is for the greater good. This property is for the organization. These are the things we're doing to help maintain and make sure that Black Lives Matter stays around for many, many, many years to come. I'm down for all of that. And then when you start getting into the LLCs, you bought it under one LLC, then you transferred it, then it was in somebody else's name, then it was a hidden LLC. That's what makes people think the shit get tricky. That's what makes people think that it's some shicey stuff going on. Because I don't even listen. I read it to y'all, and it still got me lost. I was like, so you bought it under somebody else's name, somebody's spouse, and then you got it under one LLC, then you transferred it to another LLC on the other side of the country under the guidelines that the names of the owners wouldn't be disclosed. That's what makes people think it's some shicey shit going on. Under the best circumstances, and I mean, this is me giving them all the grace in the world. Under the best explanation for all of this, y'all made some bad decisions. And it still looks shicey. People chasing abolition are red herrings to me. It's a non-accomplishing goal. They can always say requires more funds. Well, the fact that she even put in her statement that the movement is going to take more money, ma'am, while you're releasing a statement explaining why y'all didn't know what to do with the first $60 million, you probably shouldn't put in it that you need more money. I'm just saying, you probably should have left that part out because you literally just told us that y'all didn't know what the hell to do with the first $60 million. I mean, can y'all imagine what SNCC could have done with a $60 million donation? Can y'all imagine what the Southern Christian Leadership Conference could have done with a $60 million donation? Like, stop playing with me right now. Right, exactly, Crispies. Why hide the names? Like, this stuff don't make no sense to me. And like I said, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt about buying property for places to meet or whatever. But again, do you need to buy a $6 million mansion? Even if they had bought a house, right? Did you need to buy a $6 million house? And your reason for not disclosing it is because it needed repairs. What does that have to do with anything? What does the fact that the house and that the house is a fixer-upper have to do with y'all not disclosing the names? And let's even think about that for a minute. You mean to tell me that the house needed work done on it and it was still a $6 million price tag? What is that house really truly worth? What is the neighborhood? What are the specs in that neighborhood? Because if you bought the house for $6 million and it needs work, now that's going by what y'all said. I don't think it needed that much damn work, but let's just assume that's true. So once you do the work, how much is the house going to be worth then? Are we now looking at an $8 million house, a $9 million house? Like, come on, stop it. Maybe hiding names for protection, but they should have disclosed before making purchases. But what I'm saying is, why couldn't they just make the purchase in the name of Black Lives Matter Global, whatever? It's an LLC. Again, I don't understand everything when it comes to business and stuff, but it seems to me like if you bought that house for the organization, for the purposes for the organization to use, why couldn't you put it in the name of Black Lives Matter? I mean, that's what it just seemed like to me. Like the house, the reality is the house shouldn't be in any one person's name. If it is a company and if it, you know what I'm saying, it belongs to the organization, it shouldn't be in any one person's name. Because now we get into a problem with if somebody decides to leave and the house is in their name, now they can take the house or it becomes a legal issue. You know what I'm saying? Why does Black Lives Matter need a house in the Bahamas around Justin Timberlake? Oh, is that where one of the houses are? Is that one of Patrice's houses? Because Patrice said that she bought the house with money that didn't have nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. She used the money from her supplemental income. But here's my other question. Prior to Black Lives Matter becoming an organization, could you afford those 3 homes? So your supplemental income is still as a result of your association with Black Lives Matter, right? And again, I'm not saying you can't buy a house and you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. But again, it is still all connected, and it just don't look good. It's definitely a mess that I don't think they're going to be able to victim Olympics their way out of. Yeah, because like I said, when all that stuff happened a couple of months ago with Patrice, I kind of let it slide. I didn't really talk about it down here. Y'all tried to bring it up, but I ain't go there. And then when she resigned, I said, okay, well, there's that. We're going to be done with it. But child. And then in that video, if y'all saw the video surface, like they were sort of they were basically bragging in that video. You know, it's just not a good look, y'all. It's just not a good look. And I hate to see it. I just really, really hate to see it, you know, because I do think the organization has done some great things and has great potential, but this just ain't a good look. It just ain't a good look. All right, y'all, let's move on to the next. What? I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into this. So let's talk about this hoodism shit right here. Oh God, this hoodism. The organization is still good. It's just the LA chapter. Okay. I'm going to defend Patrice as a fellow screenwriter who frequents activism in their art, but this is too much. I need Robert Stone and the City of Hope to open their books. He took home $2.5 million last year. All nonprofits need some checks back. Now, I agree with that, Tracy. I agree with that 100%. All right, y'all. Let me just give y'all this. So, I live here in D.C., and I still don't know who this person is, but rapper Goonew, Goonew, who apparently was, killed recently. His family decided that they were going to have a public viewing for his body. They chose to have the viewing at a local nightclub, Club Bliss. I've been there. It's a local club in the area. When people got there, they assumed that, this was going to be a viewing, a celebration of life. They get to the location, they get to the club, and it's a whole party. It's a club. It's a party going on. It's a celebration of this young man's life. The problem is they had the body up on stage, propped up, standing up as if he were performing on stage in a club while people are dancing, eating, drinking. They said it was so hot in there that the glue, how the glue that they use on the body started melting. And they said his mouth actually came open because I guess the adhesive didn't. So Bliss Nightclub, because there was so much backlash, they released a statement, and their statement reads as follows. Our deepest condolences to Goonew's family. I don't know if that's how you say that boy's name, but that's what we're going to say today. Family, friends, and fans. Bliss was contacted by a local funeral home to rent out space. Excuse me. To rent out space for Goonew's homegoing celebration. Bliss was never made aware of what would transpire, We sincerely apologize to all those who may be upset or offended. Please keep the News family and friends in your prayers at this difficult time. Now, I'm going to give the nightclub a pass because that is exactly what happens. When somebody says, hey, we want to rob the venue, we want to have a homegoing celebration, like that is what they said is probably exactly how it went down. They, I'm sure, did not ask, well, where will the body be? So the local news, because again, I don't know about outside of this area, but this was a big story locally. So the local news, I want y'all to hear this.
The controversy
spoke to the
surrounding
family.
all of this. Spoke with his mother tonight, who says she should be able to grieve exactly how she wants.
It's something I wanted to do. That's how my kid wanted me to do it. That's how he wanted to go out. He wanted to celebrate his life, turning up, having a party. He didn't want people to be sad and crying. He always wants people to be happy and having fun.
Quite frankly, they say they don't understand the controversy surrounding all of this. Spoke with his mother tonight, who says she should be able to grieve exactly how she wants.
Y'all, this is the kind of shit I deal with at work, right? This mentality, what's up, Quintessential? This mentality, this is the mentality of the adults. This is what I deal with at work. These are the same parents that will come up to the school and try to fight a child. These are the same parents that will come up to the school and try to fight a teacher. These are the same parents that will come up to the school and bring other people with them to fight somebody's child, right? That's who we dealing with, y'all. The fact that, and here's the reality of the situation. You could have done that exact same. I think what she ain't understanding is you could have done that exact same thing, but to have him on stage like that, I think was a little bit like somebody just said a glass casket. You could have had him in a glass casket. You know, you could have pictures of him, life size, cutouts all over the place of him. Like there were so many different ways to do that. But to have the actual body propped up on stage, and then to say that's what he would have wanted. That's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted to go out partying and turning up. Y'all, and I saw that story yesterday. I didn't even talk about it yesterday. I'm glad I didn't because yesterday I wouldn't have had the mother's response. Because to me, the mother's response is worse than the actual situation. And the fact that she said she don't understand people's response, I could even see if she said, listen, I understand that my family chose to mourn differently than most people, but that's what we wanted to do for our son. Or you know what I mean? Like, but to sit here and act like you don't understand that what you did is abnormal and the shit is a bit much, that's what I'm a little, yeah. Anyway, in other DC news, Roland Ray said he is alive and well. Thank you for your prayers, your thoughts. He said, but the rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. And he posted a video of him rolling around, but he did say he was in a coma and that he had a long, what's up, Jazzy Poetress? And that he did have a long recovery, and he wanted to thank the hospital, the nurses, and all that good stuff. So he was really, really sick. But he did post a video today of him rolling around. I know he had got the Rona. And you know, he has other health conditions. So I think it was a combination of his other health conditions along with him contracting the Rona. But he did post a video today and he say he good. Okay, he said he good. That's what I'm saying. Keep it cute. I wouldn't even want to do my child's body like that. Like the fact that that was his own mother saying, and she didn't. Y'all know I want to use another word, but I don't want to use that word in mixed company. But I'm just gonna keep it with the hoodism of it. They charge $40 to get in. Now that makes it even worse. And you charge people to get in for this. Y'all. Bash said I can't watch any videos with Rolling Ray because he not about to have me in trouble with the Lord laughing at him. Listen, Rolling Ray is a whole mess, and listen, he is a whole mess, a whole mess, a whole mess. Y'all, I think I'm still stuck on that. Anyway. Oh, okay. Let's keep going. All right. We got a couple of more stories to get to. So, Kanye West has he's gone quiet. He went a little mute on us. Now allegedly, I told y'all yesterday, Kim said he's gonna go get some help. Now I don't believe nothing coming out of Kardashians' mouth, so I don't know whether he said he's gonna go get help or not. But a video has surfaced of him visiting with his family. And people crack me up. I read a comment under, I don't know if it was on the Shade Room or Jasmine Brown or wherever else I was looking, and somebody underneath was like, the media just y'all just never happy. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but y'all just never happy when he's talking too much. Then y'all got something to say. Now he's quiet, and now y'all posting videos of him with his family. How you think they got those videos of him with his family? Clearly, surely you could tell that he was in a private home. So even if there was a reporter there, the reporter was invited by Kanye West. Like, you act like the paparazzi was looking in through the windows and making videos. It was clearly somebody with Kanye West taking those videos and posting them. They post for pictures. So my thing is, don't get me wrong. Do I think that the media does too much? Absolutely. And do I think they dog people out? Sure they do. But this is not an example. Like, we got to stop making everything the example. This is not an example of that happening. Like, nobody was stalking Kanye West when he went to go visit his family. Now, they say he took his new girlfriend down to the visit. I believe it was his grandmother and his aunties and his cousin. Listen, if y'all don't think that Kanye West... Again, that was not random. Okay, I'm going to just say that. I'm going to leave it at that. That was not random. He does have family that's living, and so it makes you wonder where they've been all this time. Like, have they tried to reach out to him and get him help, and he just hasn't responded? You know what I mean? It does make you wonder. But I believe it's his grandmother, and it was some cousins and an aunt. That's true, Xavier. Xavier said, the Shade Room comments are not the breeding ground for intelligence. Now, you're right. But in other Kanye news, he made the Forbes list again this year. His estimated wealth is at $2 billion. That is billion with a B. $2 billion. So, listen, I think Kanye, all right. I mean, when I say all right, y'all know I think that he's off his meds. But when I say all right, I mean financially, he all right. He's on Forbes list, and his wealth is estimated at $2 billion. $1 billion. Child, I try not to read the comments, but every once in a while, they pop out at you, child. People be saying stuff. They pop out at you. In other Kardashian news, it is reported that Kourtney allegedly got married after the Grammys to her boyfriend, Travis Scott. They got married down to the Vegas. I mean, I think the only person that might have a problem with that is Scott, because Scott couldn't get her to marry him. But other than that, okay, girl. Yeah, it's me, D. He definitely needs, in my opinion, he definitely needs some intensive therapy. I agree with you on that. He definitely needs some intensive therapy. I agree. It's not a legal marriage. Why isn't it a legal marriage, Xavier? You live out that way, so tell me something I don't know. Travis Barker, not Scott. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She married Travis Barker. Didn't I what I say? Didn't I say she married Travis Barker? They said it was just for fun. Oh, whatever. These people gonna stop playing with marriage. So they didn't get married for real, for real. I wonder if they did get married for real, but they just trying to throw the paparazzi off. I wonder. Oh, okay. They just did the ceremony with no real license. Okay. All right, well. See, that's why I don't be talking about the Kardashians. Y'all, that's why I don't even be talking about the Kardashians. Because it be some fool-la-la and some shenanigans. Anyway. Well, forget I said that part, child. Forget I said. And it's funny because I threw that in at the end because I wrote, so I won't forget. I've been starting to keep a list of what I want to talk about because I know I'll be forgetting sometimes. And I literally, that was the last thing I wrote before I went live. I was like, oh, I guess I'll talk about that. See, I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have left it where I had it. Should have left it where I had it. They did a Yandy and the Mendices, yes. But at least with Yandy and Mendices, I understand why Yandy. I understand exactly why she did it. And they did have every intention of getting married, you know. But she was like, bruh, I'm going to just need to make sure that I'm not going to be on the hook for none of your restitution or nothing going on with your cases before we do the do, okay? You know. Oh, okay. What else? Okay, we got... All right. Hold on. I think we got 2 more stories. Hold on. Lord, I can't read my own. Oh, okay. All right, y'all. So let's get ready for this one. Sounds like a waste of time. It is a waste of time, Bap. Listen, we're not practicing. The only practicing, if I ever get married, the only practicing that's gonna be had is the night before the wedding at the rehearsal dinner. That's it. That's all. We're not practicing. We're not going to the Justice of the Peace to pretend. We're not going to the little chapel down in Vegas to pretend. We're not playing those games, okay? If it ever happened, it's gonna be real. I'm not playing these games with these people. Right. Yandy didn't want them to come after that check she was getting from Love and Hip Hop, honey. Her coupon for the 2-piece and the biscuit. She didn't want to have to share her coupon, honey. Anyway. Let's talk a little bit about Erica Jayne. Now, y'all know I ain't even been bothering Erica Jayne in the last couple of months because I just didn't feel like it was nothing left to talk about, okay? What? No, yeah, we're not playing them games. Yeah, I need some papers. We don't. Oh no. All right, now I want to give a shout out to. This is coming from the Bravo Docket over on Instagram via Kempire Daily. I know I like to give credit when credit is due. Kempire did a video on this, and so I went to go because even when I find stories from other people, like if I see it on Kempire or Up and Adam or Scotty by Nature or any of these other vloggers who do news stories and stuff like that, I always go back and read the information for myself. I never just take their stuff and just make my video or come and talk to y'all. So I just want to let y'all know that I always give credit. Okay, I always give credit, and I always go back to their source. I never just be like, oh, well, Kempire said, and I just be like, blah, blah, blah. Nah, because Kempire always gives his sources, and so I always go back. They get married on the show. That makes sense. So I always go back. So anyway, with that being said, he talked about Bravo Docket on Instagram, and it's actually a podcast as well. So they're talking about Erica may be facing some new allegations soon. Right. I try to verify Trey Leche because y'all know I ain't always right. And I've been wrong. Like I was just wrong just now. Well, I ain't have all the information. But y'all know I don't have no problem telling y'all when I screw up. I be like, oh, my bad, y'all. Ooh, I got that wrong. I don't have no problem giving y'all that. Okay. Girl, yes, Bab. I try not to be, honey. I try not to be. So let me explain, because again, I'm gonna read y'all. This is coming from the Bravo docket. I'm gonna read it to y'all so that y'all can understand. Because I'm gonna be honest, I honestly had to watch Kim Pye's video 3 times because my brain was like, what? Because it was so many. And then I went to the website and read the information there. So let me read you guys the information. Erica Jayne, if y'all don't know who Erica Jayne is from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We did the whole video, The Housewife and the Hustler. Remember, we've talked about it ad nauseum over here. So I'm sorry if you're new or you missed all of that. But Erica Jayne is a housewife from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Her husband was this big time hotshot attorney who has since been disbarred, who was accused of stealing money from his clients. Erica is involved because they created a shell company with her name on it to help funnel some of those funds that he was embezzling. That's the short version of it, baby. If you want the long version, y'all gotta go back. But let me give you the latest. Erica may be facing new allegations soon. So let me explain. Jay Edelson. Now, Jay Edelson is I'm gonna just read this because it explains it. Jay Edelson is the attorney that flagged the court, that flagged to the court that victims and their families from the Lion airplane crash that he and Tom had represented had not received settlement payment from Tom's firm. So Jay Edelson is the one that got this ball rolling on this specific situation. Now, what we found out later on is that there were other people had been complaining about Tom Girardi, but because he was so powerful and he had so many friends in all the right places, things just didn't really go far. But Jay Edelson was the attorney that was able to sort of get the ball rolling. There was a plane crash, and Tom Girardi and Jay Edelson represented 2 sets of victims, and they got a settlement. And what happened was Jay Edelson's clients got their money, but Tom Girardi's clients didn't get their money. And he became aware of it through, again, you have to go back and read all of it, but he became aware of it, and that's when he notified the court. And again, that's what got this ball rolling. He has been working hard to get the funds for the victims and was the one who filed claims against Erica and Tom in the Northern District of Illinois. And that's another part of the reason why Jay Edelson was able to make so much headway, in my opinion, is because he did it in Illinois and not in California. Because Tom Girardi pretty much had California on lock. The bar, the judges, other attorneys were afraid of him. But because this was done in Illinois, I think that's why some of this trickled. That's why I think it trickled out the way it did. Today, Edelson filed a motion asking the court to approve an agreement he made with the minor plaintiffs from the crash and their families. The agreement is that Edelson would reimburse the victims for the total amount lost and would then pursue those funds from those responsible by essentially stepping into their shoes and pursuing the claims on their behalf. So what he's saying is, look, Tom Girardi owes you $1.5 million. I'm going to go ahead and pay you the $1.5 million so you can be made whole. And then I will continue to pursue what the $1.5 million. And of course, he's going to add all sorts of fees on top of that. But because the reality is these people are truly victims. Some of these people were burn victims. Some of these people lost family members and they're orphans. Like, these are people who really, truly need this money. And so he said, listen, this could drag on for years at this point, because at this point, Tom has been, I was going to say pretending. Tom has been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and all kinds of stuff. So he's saying, listen, I'm going to take the hit. Hey, of you. Hey, doll. He's saying, I'll take the hit. I'm going to go ahead and pay y'all the money. And notice they said some of the smaller victims. So these aren't the people that got the $20 million settlements. But I'm going to pay y'all so that y'all will be whole. And then I'm going to keep going after this money. Attached to the motion, and this is the juicy part, okay, is a draft complaint that Edelson intends to file against Erica as well as some former Girardi Keys partners. Should the court approve the agreement, it is the most detailed explanation of the purported scheme we've seen to date. So the court has to approve him doing this. He can't just do it without getting the court's permission. But if the court approves it, then he's going to file this motion, and the motion is as follows. The draft complaint is worthy of its own podcast. Now they have a podcast. I'm reading directly from their Instagram. The draft complaint is worthy of its own podcast episode, but at a high level, it alleges that the Girardi family enterprise engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity that included wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering, engaging in monetary transactions, and property derived from specific unlawful activity, interstate transportation of stolen goods, and obstruction of justice. And that, based on each of the victims, lost $500,000. The draft complaint also alleges that the firm attorneys involved received the stolen money from the form in the form of their salary, and that the stolen money was also used to pay Erica Jayne's American Express cards. Now, again, we done went through this whole Amex bill that Erica Jayne had a $5 million Amex bill, and it has been itemized, and it is out there. Y'all can go look at all the money she spent and what she spent it on. But Erica's defense is, listen, all I did was swipe the credit card. I didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know how the money, was being spent. They just paid the bill. So because the money was used, because her bills were paid from firm's money, that's one of the ways Erica's roped into this. There's another way that Erica's roped into this, and we're going to get to that. The draft complaint also contains a long narrative of how the scheme allegedly operated. Okay, here you go. Hold on, Buttercup. Here's where it is. This is the tip of the iceberg, but it states, the basic scheme operated like this. When a new opportunity for cases came in, the firm would tap into its network of non-lawyers, sometimes called case runners, to find them injured clients. These individuals were paid with cash for getting clients to hire the firm. That's illegal. So, I'm an attorney. I can solicit. Hey, T. Trisha, Auntie, did you ever get the package that I sent you? It never came to my house, so I'm assuming it did come to your house. It was from Nadia. It was the natural bath, natural soaps and stuff. Please let me know. Please, I want to make sure you got it because I sent that a while ago. So if you didn't get it, let me know. And I meant to email you, so that's my fault. But please let me know you got it. But thank you for being here. Mwah. So it's illegal for me to go out and solicit clients on behalf of a law firm. I can't do that. That's outside. You did? Okay, thank you. I'm so glad you got it. And thank you for your patience. You were one of the winners from the 12 Days of Christmas. And I know it took me a while because I originally was going to order you something from another vendor, and they weren't taking orders. They were restocking. And so that's why I sent it to you from Nadia. So I'm glad you got it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Yeah, so I didn't know it was illegal, but apparently it is. I mean, you can refer somebody, like if you know somebody that needs a lawyer, you can refer somebody. That's not illegal. But you just can't be out here like in, emergency rooms soliciting clients on behalf of a lawyer, if that makes sense. Okay. These individuals were paid with cash for getting clients to hire the firm and will also take a cut of any eventual recovery for the client. Now that is also illegal. So if I get 10 clients for a law firm and they get a settlement, and if they say, okay, well, we're going to give you 10% of all the settlements that we get, that is also illegal. And I didn't know that either. Not that I was out here doing that kind of stuff, but it's good to know what's legal and what's illegal because I didn't know. As just one example, Hatcher, a non-lawyer consultant who was responsible for referring the families of air crash victims, got hundreds of thousands of dollars to ensure that his referrals to the Girardi were exclusive, along with a similar illegal percentage of whatever the client eventually got. So he knew crash victims, and he went out and solicited, they heard about the plane crash. So he went out and he found these people and solicited those people and exclusively got them to sign on to Tom Girardi's law firm. And then not only did he get money, a finder's fee, so to speak, but then he got money on the back end. It continues. Within the firm, David Lara, Tom's son-in-law, and Keith Griffin, two of Tom's most senior lawyers, made sure that the client and lawyer-facing aspects of the scheme were managed and appeared to be on the up and up. They struck the deals the firm needed to get a case to settlement, like securing co-counsel in the locations the case would be filed, while in some cases committing to pay out more than 100% of the available fees. In other words, Laura and Griffin would make deals with co-counsel and with full knowledge that they were never going to be paid. Once the client's settlement money was funneled into the black hole that was the Girardi Keith scheme, Laura and Griffin were tasked with fending off inquiries from clients and other lawyers about why that money never came back out. So yeah, they were, and again, that was one of the questions, and I think, Lil Baby, you brought this up a while ago. That was one of the questions that came up last, when all this happened, was why is Erica getting all of the heat? Why isn't anybody talking about his partners? Why isn't anybody talking about the other lawyers in the firm? Like, they knew what was going on. They had to. What's up, Cams? I saw you last night over on El Teddy's. You look so handsome. I saw you over there. All right. When the firm couldn't fund its operations with client money, it went to lenders, taking out tens of millions in financing. Eventually, though, Girardi Keith became untouchable as routinely delinquent debtors. So when they ran out of money to steal from their clients, then they started getting loans. One creditor of Girardi Keith became a beneficiary of the scheme. Donardo and his company, California Attorney Lending, in order to make back some of the money that Girardi Keith had borrowed, Donardo continued to fund the firm into 2020, provided he got a first cut of settlement money coming in from cases, making sure that money was paid directly to his company before it ever hit a Girardi Keith account. So as a result of them lending out so much money, this guy became basically pay me first. Before you even deposit that money into your law firm accounts, pay me my money first. Here's where Erica becomes involved. Erica acted as the front woman of the operation, selling to the world, including unsuspecting clients, that Girardi Keith was successful and that she was exceptionally good in the role. With tens of millions of dollars backing her, Erica shamelessly displayed a nationwide showroom of the money they stole on Real Housewives, famously spending $40,000 per month on her glam and releasing a song called Expensive, featuring the refrain, "It's expensive to be me." And when push came to shove, the fraud was close to being exposed, Erica clamped down, misleading the public into believing that an otherwise damning lawsuit was false and that the plaintiffs behind it were forced to apologize to Tom and the firm. So essentially, we know that Erica, okay, so two things are happening here. Three. One, we know that Erica's bills were being paid out of client money. Now, Erica may or may not have known that was happening. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, because if I have a rich husband and he give me a credit card and all I know is when I swipe it don't get declined and I don't never have to worry about the bill, I probably am not asking questions as to where the money's coming from, especially if I know he's successful. So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt on that. But here's where I lose you, Erica. The second thing that Erica is alleged is that she had her own, was it Erica J Enterprises? And she got a loan from the law firm of something like $20 million. And that was the company that was financing her music career, paying for her videos, paying for her rehearsal space, paying for studio time, paying for her glam. Now, I don't understand how you sign paperwork for a whole business, pay taxes and everything else, and you don't ask no questions. But again, that's the second thing. Now, here's the third part. They're saying that Erica was not so much paid, but Erica played her part in the scheme by going out and representing Erica Girardi as being this successful enterprise, which of course, people love power, people love money. And she put that image out there that Girardi Keys was so successful that she could afford to live this lifestyle. And if you watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you know how ridiculous Erica Jayne's lifestyle was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The other thing that came up, she screwed herself from getting that loan. Yeah, that's one of that. I think is what's most damning for me. That's the most damning part of this. So they said that basically by her, and then the other thing they talked about was, if y'all remember, those of you who watched the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not this last reunion, but the reunion before that, where they brought up Erica Jayne's husband, that lawsuit that he had, and remember when she said that the lawsuit was resolved and that the people had to apologize to her husband because the whole lawsuit was like bogus. Y'all remember when Erica got real snotty about it and was like, how about it was resolved and they had to apologize? Y'all remember that? Well, come to find out that was a lie. That lawsuit had not been resolved and nobody apologized because the plaintiffs were not wrong. And so that's how they're continuously roping Erica Jayne into this whole situation. I didn't know you could get sued for someone perpetrating. Well, I think now I'm nobody's attorney. I do think it's a little bit of a stretch, but I understand the thought process. The thought process is, even while Rome was burning, meaning the law firm was running out of money, they were borrowing hand over fist, they had stolen all of their clients' money, and they were borrowing from creditors and weren't paying the creditors back, that even while all of that was going on, they were still presenting to the world that this was a successful money-making law firm that was still able to throw away millions of dollars a year. So if I'm looking for an attorney and I have an opportunity to get Girardi Keys, why wouldn't I go to Girardi Keys? Because look at how they living. They clearly are successful. They clearly win their law cases. They clearly get money for their clients because look how they living. I think that's the mindset. Now, again, I ain't go to nobody's law school, so I can't sit here and say that that's a good or bad argument. But I think that's the argument that they're making, that she participated in the scheme. And again, remember, they are maintaining that Erica knew. So if you assume that Erica knew how bad things were and Erica knew that, the money was running out and like they're coming from the argument that Erica knew. So if you're coming from the argument that Erica knew, then what you're saying is that Erica is consciously misleading the public because she knows that there's no money. She knows that everything is bogus and that Rome is burning, yet she's still going on this show and flying her glam squad first class to Japan for 3 days. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's their argument. So you have to first start with the argument that they believe she knew what was going on. Now, I don't think she knew everything. Now, I ain't gonna say she was totally ignorant, but I don't think she knew how bad it was. I really don't. I don't think Erica knew how deep it was. Now, do I think that Erica knew that some shit was funny? Maybe. But I don't think she knew how deep it was. I don't. It's funny how the women who are really flamboyant with their money on these Real Housewives shows seem to be involved with this. Right, because they're trying to maintain a lifestyle that, the reality is they're trying to maintain a lifestyle that most people just don't have. Or if they do have it, they don't brag on it. Like, for example, I use Kathy Hilton as a perfect example. At no point in time in last year's season did you see Kathy Hilton bragging on anything Kathy Hilton had. Kathy Hilton got more money than everybody on that damn show. Kathy Hilton has a mansion that is just freaking ridiculous, right? Kathy Hilton got so many servants, she can't even remember the people's name. Remember, she couldn't remember the woman's name? And remember when she walked in as a gift, that damn candle that was, how much did you say that candle cost, little baby? That candle cost $200. And she walked in as like, it was just a gift for the weekend. Like, hey, y'all, here's a little gift for the weekend. At no point in time, Kathy Hilton was walking around with the damn straw hat and shit. Like, Kathy Hilton wasn't, and that's not to say that there wasn't a label on everything she had on, because I'm not going to sit here and say that Kathy Hilton shops at, JCPenney. That ain't what I'm saying either. But how many logos did we see on Kathy Hilton last season? Dorit is the logo queen. Everything Dorit wears is a logo, from her bow in her hair all the way down to the socks on her feet. But how many logos did we see on Kathy Hilton last season? Now, some of the stuff she had was probably expensive as hell. But how many logos did we see? How much did we know? Like, now, if you knew, you knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you saw a bag and you knew the bag was a certain designer, sure. But it didn't have G's all over it. It didn't have LV all over it. It didn't have, you know what I'm saying? You could look and be like, oh, that's so-and-so bag. I saw it on, in a magazine. But, scammers love a good logo. Right, Sebastian. Hey, Anton. How you doing? Hey, Nafessa. Hey, how are you? How y'all doing? Yeah, so it's, again, I don't know if that argument is, I think their best argument is the one where she has the, excuse me, Erica Jayne Enterprises was being financed by money that was stolen from the law firm. Like, I think that's their best argument to prove that Erica was a part of the conspiracy. That's just me. Never understood wearing logos. That's like paying to advertise. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and say I don't wear a logo. I do, but everything I wear doesn't have to have a logo on it. Like, I like polo. Anybody who knows me knows I've been wearing polo since high school. I've been wearing polo since high school. And I have bought polo from TJ Maxx. I bought polo from Ralph Lauren. And notice that Ralph Lauren is a totally different store than the polo outlet, okay? Walk into Ralph Lauren and look at them prices. But I have bought from Ralph Lauren. I have bought from the outlet. Hell, I done bought polo from TJ Maxx. I just like polo, But does everything I put on have to be polo? No, it doesn't. Hello? I also wear Lane Bryant and Ashley Stewart and Sheen and, Fashion Nova. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I like it, I like it, Erica not going to get out of this scot-free. She got to pay something. Yeah, Erica's going to, she not. Now, I don't think she's going to get out of it, but no, he paid off his debts. Now, listen, Tracy. Now, I didn't bring that down here to the streets, but Dorit's husband paid off his gambling. Now, Dorit's husband had a couple of $1 million in gambling debt down to the Las Vegas. Dorit's husband paid his gambling debt off allegedly with the insurance money from that break-in. Now, y'all do with that what you want. Do with that what you want. Now, that's what they had said. They had said that he paid off his gambling debts down to the Vegas, which was $1 million and some change after the robbery. Now, y'all do with that what you want. Y'all do with that what you want. Now, I'm not saying that he used the money from the insurance from the robbery. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that he paid his gambling debts off after the break-in. That's all I'm saying. Right, the break-in that Teddy's husband. Listen, this is the part I don't understand. Why ain't nobody made that connection yet? Why has nobody made the connection to Kyle's house being robbed, Dorit's house being robbed, and both of their houses had the security from what's-her-face husband's big company yet? Why ain't nobody made that connection? I don't understand why nobody else made that connection. But anyway, child, it's coming back. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills will be back soon. Well, I had to put the air quotes on it. All right, y'all. Last but not least, and that was a long story, but I wanted to make sure that y'all understood because, like I said, I had to listen to the video 2 or 3 times and then go read it because there was so many this and that and twists and turns and ups and downs, baby. There was a lot going on in that video, but I had to give it to y'all, okay? Sometimes people conveniently get robbed and the insurance covers that debt. Nothing suspicious about that. And he did security for Pop Smoke in the house. Are you serious, Sebastian? Why he still got a company? I don't. Okay. You know what, Tracy? I ain't messing with you. Now I need him to do the security at the bank. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about this last case. Y'all know what we get ready to talk about, y'all. We get ready to talk about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. And Tory ass being handcuffed in court and being taken away because they had the judge increased his bail, and until he posted the new bail amount, his ass had to go sit in jail for a little while. Now listen, let's start at the beginning and work our way up. When I say at the beginning, we're not going all the way to that night when something happened to Meg's foot. We're not doing that. We're not going that far back. But this is where we are going to go. This is how far we are going to go. Okay. let's go back to the last court hearing a couple of weeks ago. That's where I need him. Look, Nafessa. Speaking of which, rumor has it. Now, this is a rumor, and I saw it on Hollywood Unlocked, and they the same people that said that the queen was dead, so you can take it with a grain of salt. But according to Hollywood Unlocked, they about to extend our student loans again. Now, I'm holding off on that until I see it somewhere else. So if y'all see it somewhere else, put it in the chat if y'all saw it on somewhere other than Hollywood Unlocked. Because, again, if I was to listen to Hollywood Unlocked, they said that the queen was dead, okay? The queen not dead. As far as I know, the queen not dead. But if y'all see it somewhere else, put it in the chat if y'all saw that somewhere else. But in the meantime, and in between time, I'm with you. They need to just cancel it all together. I'm with you 100%. At this point, you've gone 2 years without my money. I just feel like you don't need it. I feel like if I haven't paid y'all none of my student loans in the last 2 years, I just feel like you don't need my money. I feel like you're good. Check CNN. Thank you, Sam J. Yeah, I was going to check. Only reason why I even brought it up because somebody said something in the chat about it, but I'm going to have to check it. You saw it on the news, Tavares? Okay, hallelujah. Thank you, Tavares. Thank you. Hey, Creative Diva. We still here for the last. We got one more story to talk about. So, okay. So when they went to court a couple of weeks ago, there was a situation with the DNA on the information on the DNA report, right? Allegedly, there's some question about the DNA, whether Tory's DNA is on the gun or not, right? Now, again, you saw it on the AP. All right. Well, then that sounds good. Did they say when they're going to extend it to? Did they say how much longer they're going to give me? How many more months they're going to give me? You know what, Sebastian? It really would. Okay, let me take a quick sidebar right now. It really would, because I don't think people understand. When I say people, I mean people who don't have student loan debt. I don't think people understand when you get ready to do anything as it relates to till August. They give me all summer. Okay. I don't think people understand that when you get ready to apply for a car, when you get ready to apply for a house, even a credit card, depending on what they look at, when they look at your debt to income ratio, they include your student loan debt. So if I make $3,000 a month and my bills are $2,000 a month, then technically it looks like I have $1,000 of disposable income, and maybe I can afford another bill, whatever I'm trying to get a car or whatever the situation is. Even if my student loans are deferred, like right now, my student loans are deferred, right? I've had to pay a student loan in 2 years. But when I had to get a car, I remember when my car got totaled, like about a year and a half ago now, when I went to go in, they looked at my student loan debt. Now I still got approved and all that good stuff. But the man even said, he was like, you got this. And I was like, that's my student loans. I said, they're deferred right now. That's not even a part. And I understand why they have to look at it, because eventually the idea is you got to pay it back. So even though you don't have to pay it right now, we still have to take that into consideration of what you can and can't afford, right? And that makes sense. So what you just said, Sebastian, is very valid. If they were to wipe out the student loan debt, now I can go buy a new car. Maybe I can buy a house. Maybe I can get some extended credit loans. And that money, let's just be real, y'all. Ain't nobody taking their student loan. Well, I ain't gonna say nobody. The majority of people are not going to say, oh, I was paying $300 a month in my student loans. I'm going to take that $300 and put it in the bank and not touch it. Most of us ain't doing that. Most of us are going to be like, thank you, Jesus. The weight is off my back. Now I can go do X, Y, and Z. Right? Right. People will be buying houses. People will be buying cars. People will get lines of credit to maybe fix up the house that they already have. Like, it will open the door for so many other things. It really would be a boom to the economy. People will open up business. Can you imagine how many people have gotten turned down for a business loan because of their student loan? Maybe because their student loan, maybe they even defaulted. Because here's the reality. Some people are in good standing. Some people have defaulted. So even if you messed around and you defaulted on your student loan, can you imagine the world that they would open up for people? Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Meet me over at Teacher Project 2.0, and we'll have more conversations about student loans. But that is a valid point, Sebastian. I heard most of the Democrats and student borrowers are putting the pressure on Biden to extend the deadline, extend until, child, he can extend it for the next 3 years, as far as I'm concerned. Extend it to next year or cancel altogether, if you ask me. Lauren, cancel it. Because that's part of the reason why I haven't, honestly, y'all, I want a PhD. And part of the reason why I have not gone back to get my doctorate is because I don't want more debt. I just don't want more student loan debt. And so I've been looking at different programs and fellowships and stuff like that because I want the degree, but I don't want another $60,000-$70,000 of debt on my neck. Also, this country needs to put education first and follow the free education. Listen, you ain't gonna get no arguments out of me on that one. The entire millennial generation will be doing better. Yes, it just, and the reality is it ain't rocket science. If us sitting here on my little live, oh, thank you, Nefessa. If I have a mod in the chat, can y'all drop the Teacher Project 2.0 link for people? Because that's what we do over there. Myself and El Teddy, that's what we talk about, all things education over there. So meet me over at the Teacher Project 2.0, and we talk student loans. We talk these different laws that are going on as far as education is concerned and all of that. I have a doctorate, but I'm not paying that money for it. I'm good. That's the same. I want one, but baby, I'm working on my PhD. But yeah, Biden canceled that. Yeah, and I'm not saying I won't do it, but right now I just can't wrap my brain around more student loan debt. I just can't until I pay something off, get a monkey off my back, refinance, do something, child. Anyway. But let's get back to Tory and them people. I need to finish my master's, but I don't want to add my loan. Yeah, I get it. I do. What's up, El Teddy? El Teddy, if you I think one of my moms are going to do it. I think little baby's in here. But can one of y'all drop the link for the Teacher Project? We were just talking about that Biden is supposed to be extending the student loans again to August, the end of August. So we kind of got sidetracked with that a little bit. But let's finish up this story about the Tory situation. So back when they went to court a couple of weeks ago, there was some discrepancy about some evidence as far as DNA. Was his DNA on the gun or not? Who said that the DNA was on the gun? Did the forensics come back? Was it thank you, little baby. Y'all meet me over there at the Teacher Project 2.0, y'all. Meet me and El Teddy over there. We have great conversations about all things education. Y'all meet us over there. But with that being said, so that was the discrepancy. Now here's where it got tricky. DJ Academics tweeted that it was said in court that Tory's DNA was not on the gun. Now there were other reporters that were in the court that said that's not what was said. What was said is that Tory's attorneys want an independent report about the DNA because there is some discrepancy. I'm paraphrasing y'all, but there is some discrepancy about the results of the DNA. DJ Academics insisted that he saw the report, and in the report it said that Tory's DNA is not on that gun, and they need to go ahead and drop this case, and that is all bogus. So Nancy, I forget her last name, but she's writes for Rolling Stone magazine. And what she said, she tweeted out, and what she said was, the reality of the situation is any information as it relates to the DNA on the gun is privileged information that only the attorneys can see through discovery. So if DJ Academics really did see the report, that means somebody broke the law, because nobody was supposed to see that report other than the attorneys. So who gave it to DJ Academics? Now, I did a video about it when it happened, and what I said was he ain't see shit. He just think Meg is lying and think that Tory is innocent, and he took what somebody said and he blew it up into something else, and I don't believe he saw nothing. So it came up in court today. Child, me too, Creative Diva, me too. So it came up in court today about whether he saw it or he didn't see it. And what was said in court today was, well, first of all, the attorneys for Tory said, we didn't show him nothing. He ain't see the report from us. We didn't show, like, who is showing DJ Academics anything? And what they said was the DNA on the gun itself is inconclusive, but the DNA on the magazine was negative, that Tory's DNA wasn't on the magazine, but the DNA on the gun was inconclusive. And Tory's attorney's arguments were, if we had showed him the report, that's what he would have said, not the report came back and Tory DNA isn't on the gun at all, because that's not what the report says. So that was their argument. Their argument was, listen, if we gave him the report, he would have had the right information. So once again, DJ Academics, even if you saw the report, what you said still is not accurate. Now, DJ Academics tweeted out today and said that Roc Nation showed him the report. Sir, first of all, Roc Nation isn't supposed to have a copy of the report. So once again, if Roc Nation has a copy of the report, who gave it to them? Second of all, you've been dogging Roc Nation every chance you get. Why would anybody, let's assume for a minute that Roc Nation had the report. Let's just assume for a minute. Why would anybody at Roc Nation give you anything? Because every chance you get, you are dogging them out. Why would they give you anything? And who the hell are you, DJ Academics? Of all the people that could get a report, get a copy of this report, why would they give it to you? Like, who are you? The other thing that came up in court today, hey, LaShonda, how you doing? The other thing that came up on the report, that came up in court today is the fact that Tory basically has been taunting Meg through tweets and been issuing like coverted threats and mentioning her by name, which the judge felt was a violation of the stay away order. And that is why he increased the amount of his bond to $350,000, which is why he was handcuffed and he was taken out of court in handcuffs. He was essentially arrested until somebody could post bond, which of course they immediately posted the bond. And he was out in a couple of hours. So that's what happened. But we have a court date. The court date is set for September the 14th, which means, y'all, we got another 6 months of this bullshit. I really hope that we settle. At this point, I don't know who did what. I won't there. I don't even care no more. Can we just be done with it? Right. He talks about Roc Nation all the time. Why in the hell would Roc Nation give him anything? What's up, Simone? Why would Roc Nation give him anything? Like, that don't even make no sense. He popped up on set with the baby on the Rolling Loud show. Discovery isn't tossed around any. Right. Discovery is, and again, it is illegal. If it is found that an attorney shared those documents, that is illegal. Somebody going to jail and getting disbarred. That or be up for disbarred. That is illegal. When people realize that their social media can be used against you. Exactly. Yes, child. I'm tired of the views of you. I'm over it, honey. So let me share this last thing before we get ready to get out of here. First of all, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate everybody for being here. And also, can you please hit that like button while you are here? Appreciate it so much. Rather, if she's lying or not, I hate the fact that a lot of people from the beginning assumed that she was lying. And this is not believing women when they scream assault has to stop. You know what, It's Me D? You know what? Let's get back to that because I actually wasn't going to talk about that, but let me go ahead and add a little something to that, okay? So y'all know I've been reviewing, Secrets of Playboy, right? So last night's episode was the conclusion, and I uploaded the wrong episode. I got to upload the right episode. That'll be up after I get off of here. And I apologize to anybody who clicked on that video and it was the wrong video. And shouts out to one of my subscribers who was like, girl, just the wrong episode. Because what happened was I uploaded episode 2 instead of episode 12. And I think last night it was late. I was tired. I thought I saw 12. I only saw 2. So episode 2 had got uploaded. So I will put the right episode up tonight. But last night's episode was the conclusion, right? So if you haven't been following or you haven't been watching my videos, go watch my videos. Go to the playlist, Secrets of Playboy. But it's a documentary that came on A&E. There were 10 episodes, which ended up being 12 episodes, basically about what happened down to the Playboy, right? There's a lot of, it is C. Golden, and thank you for keeping me honest. It is. I was going to start the new book on April the 1st, but as you can see, April the 1st came and went. But we absolutely are. Thank you for keeping me honest. We are. Child, they ended up with 12 episodes, and I pretty much think they're gonna have a season 2, kind of like when they did Surviving R. Kelly, and then they had to do a second one because so much more information came out. I 100% anticipate there's gonna be a second season, because I think a lot of people are gonna come forward, a lot of things are gonna come out. That's my opinion. But one of the things that came up last night, because last night again was the conclusion, it was sort of like a roundup. One of the things that came up was the backlash that a lot of these women were getting online, and they showed some of the tweets. And this is and Sandra, who was Hugh Hefner's girlfriend for 4 years, and what she said was, because a lot of people were like, well, he never did it to me, and I went to the Playboy Mansion and I never had any problems. So this is what I'm going to say about that, because I agree with everything you just said. It's me, D. And what I'm going to say about that is this, you guys. Please stop negating somebody else's experience just because it wasn't yours. And what she said was, they had their experience with Playboy and I had mine. Don't belittle my experience because it wasn't your experience. And I just think that is so valid. I think we've got to stop. Women do it just as much as men. But listen, does that mean that every woman that tells a story is telling the truth? No, it doesn't. And I get it. And I understand that. And I mean, I shouldn't say women victim. Let me say that. Does everybody who tells a story, does it mean that their story is true? It doesn't. It doesn't. But what I will say is, I think we as a society have got to get out of the idea of always looking for a way to excuse the man. And I'm going to make this a man-woman thing right now, because I'm talking specifically about Meg and Playboy and stuff like that. We've got to stop finding excuses for bad behavior just because it doesn't fit our narrative of who we thought that person was. We did it with Bill Cosby. We did it with R. Kelly. I mean, I could go down the list, but I'm just going to keep it to those two people right now. And we did it, those women did it with Hugh Hefner. Did Hugh Hefner do some things that were great? I'll put that in parentheses. Sure. But that doesn't mean that the private Hugh Hefner wasn't a son of a bitch. And all of these women, I keep telling y'all, all these women are not lying. I don't believe it. These are women that have not talked to each other in 30 years. These are women who never shared their stories. And all of them said the same thing. They said, had we talked to each other, maybe we would have felt strength. And maybe we would have been able to speak up when it could have changed something. Because the reality is, Hugh Hefner's gone. His family has sold the business. So even if you hurt Playboy, you're not hurting the Hefner family. You're only hurting the people who now own Playboy. So you're not hurting anybody that really kind of had anything to do with it. But everybody's not lying. You know, we're talking about stories that go all the way back to the 1960s. If you go watch that documentary, these stories start. And there were 10 full episodes. Episode 11 was all about the twins. They were on Girls Next Door. And then episode 12 was sort of like the wrap up, the finale, sort of like a reunion type style. But if you look at those 10 episodes of the documentary, there was not one episode where we didn't hear at least one, and I say at least one story of someone who was assaulted. All them people ain't lying on that man. All these women are not lying on that man, and all of the stories are the same. All of the stories are the same, and they overlap. All these women ain't lying. Let me read a couple of these messages. A person not assaulting every woman they interact with means they never assaulted anyone. Makes complete sense. Right, exactly, right? Thanks for reviewing the story. Always was dumbfounded watching a girlfriend's reality show, shaking my head. That special boy so much. Is that clarity? We go above and beyond to excuse these men and tear down these women. It's sad. Exactly. Most women have a story and are afraid to talk. It was 3 times work that they were tricked into thinking they were liberated. Child. It's a whack place. It was a whack place the whole time. Right. And when you hear the stories about the women who helped him, the women who supported him, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, let me tell you this. I defended Meg when it happened. Me and El Teddy, if you still in the clouds, he'll drop down. Me and El Teddy got into it one night on his panel. We went back and forth. It was heated. Now, y'all know me and El Teddy, we go back and forth and then we get off and we move on with our lives and we laugh and joke about something else. But it got heated, right? And I will defend and I will keep defending. And when I'm wrong, I'll just be wrong. You know, if it comes out that nothing happened to that girl and that whatever, now, because here's the reality, something happened to her foot. Now I don't know if it was a bullet hit her foot or debris off the ground of the bullet hitting the ground and shrapnel hitting her foot. I don't know who shot the bullet, but something happened to that girl, and I will defend it. If you shoot me, I'm pressing charges and so on. We're going all the way, right? What many of us do not understand is we're all complex, complicated beings. Who we are in private and who we are in public are two different. You better say it again for the people in the back, Leo. Thank you, boo. Yes. Setting the women up, taking them in the room, then leaving. That's what Kendra did to the twin. She sure did. She lured them upstairs, talking about some, y'all smoke weed? Oh, let's go smoke some weed up in Hef's room. And then she got up there and was like, oh, I don't even smoke weed, and left. And I believe her. You know why I believe him? Because Sandra, who was his girlfriend for 4 years, said she did it. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I believe Sandra. I believe Sandra because, see, you can always believe somebody who tell they, not always, but I'm going to say 90%. When they tell they dirt along with your dirt, because she talked about what she did. She said, listen, I was a drug mule. Hugh Hefner would send me down to his drug dealer's house and I would pick up the drugs and I would bring it back to the house. She said Hugh Hefner basically made me his pimp. I mean, I was his pimp. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. He would have parties at the house and he would point, I want her tonight. Go get her. I want her tonight. Invite her upstairs. I want her tonight. Like, and they even showed video footage of them dancing and him leaning over and whispering something in her ear. She said, look at my face. And they showed her face drop. Like she was smiling and enjoying herself. And then he whispered something in her ear and her whole face dropped. Because she said, yeah, he had just whispered in my ear. He probably had just whispered to me, yeah, I want her tonight. Or something dealing with what he wanted to happen with somebody. And you saw her whole face change. See, she told her business. And she said, listen, I was weak. I didn't speak up because I was weak. I kept going back to the mansion because even in the midst of all of that, I thought I owed him something. She said it wasn't until he started making eyes at my daughter. My daughter was 18 years old and he started hitting on my daughter. That's when I really was like, oh, okay, no. I'm not going to allow my daughter to go through what I went through. Exactly, Sebastian. I feel the same way, baby. I feel the same way. So anyway, I thank you, It's Me D, for bringing that up because, baby, I said the same thing. And we got to stop. Oh, I didn't realize it was that late, y'all. We got to stop. And I say we, I'm talking all of us. We have to stop automatically thinking that women are lying just because it's not convenient for us. Oh, wonderful, marvelous. It gets worse than that. His best friend's daughter, who had lived in the mansion since she was 3 years old, he tried to have sex with. Girl, oh, it's bad. It's nasty. Really needs to be an attorney of law and order in LA Law. Listen, I used to love LA. You know they're supposed to be rebooting LA Law. Blair Underwood is coming back. I don't know who else is coming back, but baby, I'm here for it. I love me some LA Law. I'm here for a reboot of LA Law. Okay, y'all, let me say this and then I'm going to be done with it. Last night I told y'all about a show that I went to go see. on Broadway this weekend. And so remember I told you that it definitely deserves a Tony Award. So I just got this tweet from my girlfriend whose daughter is in the show. She just sent me this. I just got this text. And that's her daughter in the pink. That's her daughter right there in the pink. That's her daughter right there in the pink. And what the tweet says is, and this is coming from the official account of the Tony Awards, Paradise Square gives audience a glimpse of harmony in the midst of one of America's most tumultuous moments. Happy Broadway opening to Paradise Square. So I'm here for it. And I'm ready to go and see it again. Y'all, that show was so good. Okay. But let me get ready to get out of here, you guys. It's 8:30. We're going to get the Real Housewives of New Jersey tonight. The Secrets of the Chippendale Murders. I watched that already. So I know y'all are going to get those two tonight. I don't know what else y'all going to get. But y'all will get those two tonight. All right. Let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.